Are you thinking about moving abroad and trying to decide if it's a good or bad idea? I can help you with that. I've been living in Scotland for the past 4 years, and there's a lot of good and bad sides about that. So let's just get into it. You will never be 100% home. So when I go to Poland, I say I go home, and when I go back to Scotland, I say, oh, I'm going home. It is such a weird feeling, and then the more places you live, the more you feel like that. So I used to live in America, and I went back to New York last year, and I was like, oh my god, I miss this. This is where I belong, this is my home. And then Scotland feels like that. Poland doesn't feel like that anymore, but still, like, this is where I grew up, this is where my parents live, my friends, etc. And the other thing that I think it's gonna be the hardest is that because you live abroad, you're gonna miss a lot of important events. Like when I lived in America, my grandma died and I couldn't go back home. My really good friend got married and I couldn't go back to Poland to celebrate it with them, and that really sucked. So yeah, sometimes you just can't go and things will happen without you, which sucks. And also to go there, you will have to use your annual leave. So whenever you live abroad, not 100% of your annual leave you're gonna spend on going on holidays to like exotic places. A lot of that time is gonna be spent, well, if you want, going to your home country and seeing your family. Like each year I spent at least like 5 or 10 days just going to Poland. I try to go twice a year, for Christmas and maybe for Easter or like during summer. But yeah, otherwise I could have spent that time going on city breaks, which I love. But yeah, you gotta see your family sometimes. And on that note, your family and your friends will think you changed. You might not think you will, but you definitely will. So I grew up in a very small town, 11,000 people. I was very sheltered. I didn't see much world. I didn't travel when I was growing up. I was not exposed to like diversity and different cultures and stuff like that. And then I moved to US, and it's like a melting pot of cultures, and I was exposed to all of that. And I've learned so much about like world and about myself that I remember when I came home after 2 years, my brother was like, you are not my sister, you're a different person. And I am so proud of what happened, like how I've managed to change my beliefs and how it like shaped me as a person. So I think that's like the biggest thing that I appreciate about this experience. But also sadly that would mean that you will lose some friendships, because you will grow apart. It's not even the distance, but like because it changes you and like you see a different perspective. Sometimes you realize that you no longer have anything in common with people from your, I want to say, previous life. Not to sound mean, this is not my intention, but like after so many years of living abroad, I've realized that I don't have a lot in common with the people that I grew up with, like not anymore. Because like they never left the hometown, they're married, they have kids and stuff like that. It's just like not what I'm interested in, and I don't know, it's like nothing wrong with their life, there's nothing wrong with my life, but I just sometimes I feel like I don't know what to talk about with them. So yeah, that happens. And then you will realize it's so hard to make friends with locals. I don't know, I think it's like a universal experience that all the expats just basically hang out with each other. I have a lot of friends that live abroad in different countries and different cities, and they all say the same, that most of their friends are other expats, not the locals. In my head, the reason for that is like when you live somewhere, you're already like settled and you have your friends and like you have your life and whatever. So you're not actively looking to meet new people, but other expats, they are trying to you know, meet new people. They're trying to establish friend groups, and that's why it's easier. I do have a few Scottish friends that I like very, very much, but it is hard, and it is hard to make friends in general in the beginning. I made a separate video about that, so yeah, go ahead and watch it. I have a lot of good tips, I think. Also, one very significant thing is that you're gonna become nobody. You know, in your home country you already have established life, you went to school there, you probably worked there for a bit, you had bank accounts, like you know how things work and stuff, and then you suddenly need to start from scratch. Like you won't have good credit score, you're not gonna have any connections, your degree might not be valid, and I'm still working on my credit score because like I'm a newborn baby here. It takes a while, and also you don't know things, you don't know how anything works. Yeah, you might Google things, you might ask people, but life can surprise you. After 4 years, I still am not sure how a lot of like laws work, like labor laws and like the taxes and stuff like that. I am not like 100% sure. And yeah, you will have to learn that basically from scratch, and there's a lot of Googling. But that also will make you so confident, because I've moved twice, right? I went to US and now I live in Scotland, and each time I managed to fucking do it. Like, you know, there were so many things that I was like, oh my god, I don't know how that works, I don't know how to do it, like life is just against me, and like I figured everything out by myself. I managed to move here, I managed to find a flat, I managed to get a job, and now I have a great job, and I'm gonna be moving down to London, and like life is just great, and I did that. I honestly know that if anything's gonna happen, I'll be fine, because I've lived through a lot of things, and I'm so self-sufficient, and I'm very confident in my abilities now. So I know I can just pack my bags and go, and I'll be okay. So I personally think it's like the greatest thing about living abroad, like the self-confidence and like trust in yourself, and you know that you'll be okay. You can't buy that. Also, you might not be that lucky. You might hate the place that you moved to. To be completely honest, I didn't like Scotland at first. I appreciated how beautiful it is here, and like the nature and the buildings and everything, but I was so unhappy for the first year because I couldn't find friends, and I had a very shitty job that I didn't like, and there was like I didn't feel confident at all. But yeah, that passed, and I'm like extremely happy here, and I cannot see myself going back to Poland like ever. That might not change for you, but then you just need to think that there might be better places for you to live, and you can just always go somewhere else. But that's also one thing that I've learned, that once you move from your home country once, you're not gonna be able to just go back and live there your whole life. Like I see that with a lot of au pairs that I know that went to America at the same time as me. All of them either live abroad or they moved around a lot. Like after my US adventure, I went back home and I stayed for 4 years, and I was like itching for the half of the time to move somewhere. I always think about moving somewhere else. Like I love living in Scotland. Now I'm gonna move down to London. Where else next? I don't know. I don't know. I can't stand still in one place. The world is so big, and there's so many adventures ahead. So yeah, generally speaking, for me, moving abroad is an amazing adventure. I can mostly see plus side. I know it might not be like that for everyone, but to be completely honest, it's kind of up to you. It is hard, but it's also very rewarding. All right, let me know, what do you think? Let me know where you think of moving. Maybe I'll have some tips for you. I'll see you next week. Subscribe. Bye.